is the most important topic in self-defense, and almost nobody talks about it. Almost nobody understands it. Profiling. What type of threat are different types of people? Most martial arts schools are preparing you to deal with the jerk. The people that cut in line, maybe cut you off in traffic, maybe say rude things, instigate street fights with you. But it's the wrong guy to prepare for a simple reason. Generally, you can walk away from this guy. You can just let him cut in line or let him do whatever he's done and avoid a violent situation by walking away. Then there is the bully. This is the guy who enjoys picking on people. Unfortunately, oftentimes women. He may say inappropriate things. He may touch inappropriately. He really does deserve to have his ass kicked. He's often the primary focus of women's self-defense, but he shouldn't be the primary focus, for the simple reason that he generally won't escalate to violence unless confronted, and generally you can call the police, call an authority figure, rather than deal with that escalation. A lot of avoidable violence comes from what we're going to call the familiar. Oftentimes this is a family member, or it's somebody you're in a relationship, possibly dating, but it's somebody with tendencies towards violence, a dark side, and generally when you mix it with alcohol or drugs, the violence comes out. There's a simple way to avoid this. Avoid relationships, even with family members, with people with substance abuse problems. Another profile in violence is the domestic disturbance, the couple going at it. You should be very careful about interceding in this. Yeah, sure, call the cops, get an authority figure, but keep in mind, if you get yourself involved, the man may escalate to lethal violence, possibly a weapon, with passion so aroused. The woman could do the same, or could also decide you're attacking her loved one when you come to her rescue. Both members of the couple could also decide that they were getting along just fine and you're the actual instigator and try to report you. There's reasons police respond to domestic disturbances with multiple units. This is one you're often better off just avoiding and contacting the authorities and letting them deal with it. Another card in the deck is the resource predator. This is a criminal that wants your stuff. The best way to deal with him is to be a hard target. Have situational awareness. Be aware of your environment. Lock your doors. Have security. Make sure that somebody else, other people, are easier to steal their stuff. And ultimately, if you do have to confront or deal with this person, consider just letting him have your stuff. The resource predator doesn't want violence. He just wants to take things. Then there is the process predator, the death card. This is somebody who wants to hurt you. He has a trait of sadism. He enjoys violence for the purpose of violence and enjoys hurting people. The best option here is to also be a hard target. Make sure other people are easier targets than you. Have situational awareness, have security, the same steps with the resource predator. But if you're confronted with this person, you need to be prepared for a lethal force encounter. This is one of those people where it really makes sense to consider having some proficiency in weapons and understand this won't be a street fight. This could very well be a fight for your life. Then there is the Joker. This is somebody with mental health issues and homicidal tendencies. This could be a mass shooter. This could be a stalker. This could just be somebody who decides you're an alien and he's going to put a stop to the alien invasion. It's just bad luck. And there's not much you can do about this person other than be prepared, again, for a lethal force encounter. But here's the good news. Most situations you can avoid or walk away from, and most people are not a threat to you. There are some people who are good people with a capacity for violence. They can defend themselves. It's a good idea to become one of those people. It's also a good idea to hang out with these people. You'll be safer. There's a reason mass shooters tend to pick gun-free zones. Then there are people who are unethical people, possibly criminal people, but without a capacity for violence. It's still a good idea to avoid these people. They attract trouble, including violence, like flies to honey. Then there are a lot of people who are good people without a capacity for violence. They can't protect themselves. It's easy to say if somebody pulls a knife, you'll run away, but what if they pull a knife and start attacking children? Well, I think you have an obligation to protect the innocent like children. Maybe not the same obligation for adults who should be able to protect themselves. But you need to think through, when are you going to put your life on the line for people who can't protect themselves, don't have situational awareness, and aren't doing all the right things that maybe you are doing? What are the lessons we can draw from our profiles? Well, first off, most people aren't a threat. Of those that are, most situations can be avoided. There's a real importance to having situational awareness and taking some protective measures that can avoid problems altogether. But for those rare, few situations, few cards in the deck that can't be avoided, well, they argue for a capacity for lethal force, and most likely an ability to use weapons.